Hello, Skelevaderites, and welcome to episode, what is this? The third episode of Skelevader's Weekly Weirdo. As you can see behind me, there's some changes going on back here. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But the chat is already really blowing up here, which is cool. Let's see, we've got My Buddy's Customs. Yeah. Well, it's turning into an afternoon show, Bud. So we'll see how that goes. We got Danny Phillips here in the chat as well. How's it going? Good to see you. We got John from Figuratively Speaking. Good to see you. Great episode this week, by the way. And we've got Payne's Toy Samples. Welcome back. Great to see you. And everybody's talking to each other, which is cool. And then we also have the man himself, Mr. Ostradamus Toys. Oz, how you doing? No, you're not late. You're right on time. I'm a little late. I'm 4 minutes late. Let's see here. And we're going to talk about this guy in a little bit, Blue Snaggle Rocker. James, good to see you here. Thank goodness you're here because I'm going to bring you up today. So that'll be awesome. And hey, we've got Captain Biscuit 71. Nice to see you here. Welcome. And let's see here. All right. So, and we've got Giraffe here. Welcome to it. Now, those of you notice that I've started to say hello, Skelevaderites. You can thank Giraffe for coming up with Skelevaderites. And Ronald Embry, good to see you here. Good to see you, Ronald, as usual. Man, and it's great to see you all talking to each other. So first thing, before I reveal this week's Weekly Weirdo, I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on behind me here. As you can see, I've been trying to reconfigure the background. I moved the shelf that was back there from horizontal to vertical, rearranged my books. And then, but recently, Blue Snaggle Rocker, James, and I did a little bit of a trade, a big trade, actually. I don't know if any of you have seen those the 5 baddies that I painted, the Skeletor, Beastman, Merman, Trapjaw, and Triclops paintings that I made. So we did a trade. I took those over to his house today because he lives in the area, which is so cool. And he sent me home with 2 very nice shelves that I didn't think I'd ever get a chance to get. Detolfs. So those of you who are toy collectors, you know that word. So those are going to be behind me. Probably in time for Thursday's Toy Frenzy episode, which is going to be cool, folks. We've got, I don't know if you all listen to Cracktastic Plastic Podcast, but Oz and Bobby and I are going to be talking to a couple of those guys on Thursday night. All right, and we've got JMax77. It's good to see you here. Thank goodness. Oh man, I'm glad you're here. And yeah, so listen, I'm glad you've been looking forward to this. This is going to be a good one today. It's one of my favorites today. So let me just have a sip of my fizzy water. So as I said, next week or this coming Thursday, thanks to Blue Snaggle Rocker James, I'm going to have 2 really fancy looking shelves back there. All right, so today's Weekly Weirdo. I did a little bit of a similar approach to last week with this week's Weekly Weirdo because this is a particular entity that I've been obsessed with my whole life, ever since I first saw this movie as a kid. Yes, sir, definitely. That's coming up. Right now, I only have these 3 back here: R2D2, Stripe from last week, and then Roboto. Exactly. Oh, you know what? Also, James, when I went to go visit James, he let me into his toy room, which is this is Blue Snaggle Rocker we're talking about here, which is a spectacular toy room. And he let me videotape it or film it with my phone. So hopefully by the end of this week, I'll have posted a really cool tour of his toy room. Today was very special. I finally got to see in person the Super 7 Snake Mountain, which was the very last item produced by the Classics line. Very stoked to see that and touch that thing. I mean, it was like a dream come true. So James, Blue Snaggle Rocker, thank you so much. Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, thank you. I mean, this is very cool. It's very cool to meet somebody who's also collecting toys, who lives in the area. You know, today's trade was really a lot of fun, and seeing your room was great. All the Star Wars stuff, vintage stuff mixed in with new stuff, which is right up my alley. And then seeing that, well, also that I hadn't seen before, which is a Classics Grayskull. So got to see both of those in person. It's like, I was definitely in the presence of greatness visiting your collection. So what do you guys think today's Weekly Weirdo is going to be? So Weekly Weirdo. As a kid, I had a fascination with Universal monsters. And well, no, let me rephrase that. As a kid, my fascination with Universal monsters started because they had these really cool, I think they were Scholastic, really cool orange monster books that I would check out from the school library. I mean, my elementary school was a rural school, super small school. It was, you know, it's kind of strange that they had these monster books, but pretty cool. And I started reading about the Universal monsters. Each book was dedicated to a particular character. One that struck me as particularly interesting was this character I'm going to reveal pretty soon here. And it is, yes, Oz. No, so there was a TV program on Saturday, early Saturday afternoons. It was probably started around noon after Saturday morning cartoons. This local channel, 26, would have action theater, and sometimes they had horror movies, sometimes they had like westerns, sometimes they would have, and then later on they started incorporating kung fu movies. I mean, just amazing. Middle of the day on Saturdays, you could watch this stuff. And at the local Long's Drugs or whatever it was, Thrifty, back in the day, they sold the 3D glasses for, you know what, for the creature from the Black Lagoon. You could go and you could get your 3D glasses. They would air it, and you could watch the creature from the Black Lagoon on your TV and get the 3D experience. So that's when I got really interested in the creature from the Black Lagoon. I read that book, I saw the movie, and boom, I was in for life. The creature from the Black Lagoon is my favorite, by far my favorite Universal monster, followed up closely by two that are tied at second place, which is Frankenstein monster and the Wolfman. There you go, Captain Biscuit, 71, action theater and creature feature at night. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I mean, such a cool thing. You know, I guess TV is much cooler now. You could pretty much stream anything you want at any time. But when those events would happen on our local television channels, it was epic. And I think Payne's Toy Sample is responding to Oz something there. Yeah, so Weekly Weirdos. We are all Weekly Weirdos. Yes, for sure. Yeah, I miss those programs too, Oz. Yeah, Captain Biscuit, 71 for sure. TV greatness for sure. So I'm going to start off with I never really had any Universal monster toys growing up, aside from a few things. I missed out on the whole. I didn't really venture into the Remco Universal Monsters toys arena as a kid. I don't know why. I drew them a lot. I thought about them a lot. I mean, the first like 2 novels that I read seriously were Bram Stoker's Dracula and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. But I did everything I could to draw constantly, the creature from the Black Lagoon. So I'm going to talk about the very first figure that I was able to get as an adult of creature from the Black Lagoon. Then I'm going to talk about the second one. Then I'm going to talk about the third one. Then I'm going to talk about the fourth one. It's not going to take up too much of your time, but I'm excited to show you. We'll get to Oz. We're going to get to bendables in just a little bit. Yeah, the look of the creature from the Black Lagoon for sure. Now this guy, you know, he's definitely the reason why. Oh, I remember the Remco toys too. I didn't have any friends that had them either. But they were very, very cool. And one of these days I'll run across them in the wild and I'll pick them up, the vintage ones. Around 2013 or 2013, Mezco released this. This thing's massive and cool and is stylized, which I'm usually averse to. I'm usually not into over stylized figures. I like them to look like them. But I was really impressed by the design of this particular version of the creature from the Black Lagoon. And this is one of the last things I ever got from a Toys R Us before they went under. 2013, I picked up this Mezco creature from the Black Lagoon. His ankles are a little loose, which is, you know, because he's very top heavy. So standing him up always makes me a little nervous. So I always get him propped up against other things. But look at the details on this guy. I mean, it goes without saying, Creature from the Black Lagoon is probably why Merman has always been one of my top, like 3 top favorites of the Masters of the Universe line, for sure. Yeah, dude, this guy is amazing. I love this toy. He's beautiful. Oz is saying to my buddy Customs, I always had a fascination with aquatic monsters too. Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, that was it, right? I mean, I had a creek by my house too, Oz, and it was all about the aquatic monsters. I would take any of my He-Mans or Star Wars figures, I could take them into the creek, and that would be a blast. So this is like one of my prized possessions, the Mezco creature from the Black Lagoon. On to the next one. The second one that I was able to find in the wild was this. I found him at Walgreens. This is the Sunny Days Bendham's version of the creature from the Black Lagoon. A real throwback to the vintage bendable figure. And they're really trying to honor the original creature's design. I've seen other ones out there that look a little bit more like the creature from the creature that's in the movie Monster Squad. I like that design too, but it's not quite this guy. Not quite the creature from the Black Lagoon that we all grew up with and love. Merman is creature from the Black Lagoon. The influence is there for sure, absolutely. Oz saying nice. Very good. I had that at one time. You had this one at one time, John? Oh, the Walgreens one. Yeah, for sure. Love this guy. I've seen images of the Frankenstein monster too from this line, and I kind of regret I didn't pick him up too. But I'm really happy to have him. Look at the face on this guy. He's a little sad, I think. Still that movie holds up to this day. The Creature from the Black Lagoon is still a lot of fun to watch. Now the next one, I was really excited about this. My friend Mark from Wake Up Heavy podcast, he's a big fan of Migos. He's the one that actually told me about this one when it was coming out. And I didn't pre-order him. I did. I pre-ordered. This is one of my pre-orders from Big Bad Toy Store, and then like a week later he showed up at Walmart. But I love the Mego creature from the Black Lagoon. I mean, you know the deal with Migos. I love that they honored the original version of this by giving him the bodysuit. And but I love the details here, the feet, the hands, look just like the film and the face too. The sculpt here, all the elements are really beautiful, really gorgeous. Oh, influence on the Kraken design too, absolutely. And those of you that watch the channel know that I love the Kraken. I got to get that vintage Kraken someday. Dream toy purchase eventually someday. But I love this guy. And then they came out with a black and white version of him, and I didn't get him. I'm happy with this one. Love the greens. Love the detail work on this Mego. I don't know if you're fans of Mego figures, folks, but Megos are real special. I love them. I love them. And then my final weekly weirdo version of Creature from the Black Lagoon that sits in a very special place here in the house. Really excited to get him. That is the Bubble Wand Bottle Universal Monsters glow in the dark Creature from the Black Lagoon from Super 7. And this guy is amazing. The colors are fantastic, and the glow is spectacular too. Scroll back on my Instagram page. If you follow me on Instagram, scroll back on that page, and you'll see a real nice image of him glowing. Gosh, that's a ways back, I think. Last year, 2 years ago. Gosh, I can't remember. But I love this guy. He still has the soapy water in there, and not only does he glow, the plastic glow, but this area of the design glows as well, and the Super 7 logo and stuff like that. And I'm not bringing them out because I'm going to do a separate weekly weirdo episode on my very few figures that are mint on card. I'm going to do a separate episode of that in the future, and I do have a Creature from the Black Lagoon Super 7 reaction figure. Yes, so please hit that like button. Thank you, John. Sorry, figuratively speaking, and yeah, for sure, the Kraken is a Grail piece. Definitely, gotta find that. General Mills needs to put out a green apple monster cereal with the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Absolutely, Giraffe. I'm a huge fan of the cereal monsters. We definitely need a version of that. Thanks, James. Thanks, Blue Snaggle Rocker. This is all awesome stuff. Yeah, so folks, that's my weekly weirdo for this week. I really appreciate you all tuning in. I want to give a very special thanks to the patrons of the Skelevador channel, Carol Geis, Gamerbudd, or now known as let me get it right because it's new and I'm old, My Buddies Customs. Also MotuOriginsCork, and also Brick Something. Thank you all for being patrons of the channel. And also thank you all for being here. Blue Snaggle Rocker, thank you so much for the trade today. Keep an eye out for this toy frenzy coming up on Thursday when you'll see the Detolfs behind me. John from Figuratively Speaking, Payne's Toy Samples, Danny Phillips, Ostradamus Toys, My Buddies Customs, of course, Giraffe, Ronald Embry, JMax77, Captain Biscuit 71. Let's see, who am I missing here? I know I'm going to miss somebody, and I apologize. Let's see here. Going back up, I think I got almost everybody. Yeah, thank you all so much for being here and watching. I know there are a few of you that are not in the chat. I thank you for watching as well. And one of these days, I'll get a hold of a Remco Creature from the Black Lagoon. But until then, that's my weekly weirdo for this week, Creature from the Black Lagoon, the 4 figures that I have in my collection that are loose. And I'll see you in the next weekly weirdo, and I'll see you at Toy Frenzy when we have our special guest from Cracktastic Plastic podcast this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Oz and Bobby and I will be there, and we'll be talking to folks. We'll be talking to the Cracktastic Plastic guys. Thank you all for being here. Be sure to go out and watch those old Universal movies. Captain Biscuit just said, thanks for taking us back to the old movies. For sure. I mean, Creature from the Black Lagoon, it holds up. I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch. And I'll see you later. Have a great rest of your Sunday. And be safe, be happy, do all the things that make you, that bring that joy to your life, and be a sane collector. All right, so I'll see you soon, and have a great rest of your weekend, and have a great week until I see you on Thursday. Bye.